Okay, welcome back to the Black History series. Now, I grew up in Virginia, and my dad is from Southampton County, Virginia, where Nat Turner's slave rebellion, or what is sometimes called the Southampton Insurrection, took place. Have y'all heard about Nat Turner? So I remember being a kid and learning about Nat Turner's slave rebellion in the history books, but it was always like maybe a paragraph, maybe two paragraphs. But it wasn't until I was in college taking African American studies courses that I learned that this very slave rebellion happened in my dad's hometown. That blew my mind because the professor of that particular class was also from the same county, and he was connecting the dots. And I was like, wow, I never knew that. But let's talk about Nat Turner. So Nat Turner was a slave in Southampton County, Virginia, in the county seat actually, which was called Jerusalem, Virginia at that time. Later it was renamed Cortland, Virginia. But anyway, Nat Turner learned how to read. He became a preacher, and he felt like God was calling him to do something about slavery. And he pushed for this slave rebellion. Let me tell you, it was bloody. And apparently, it was the only effective, sustained slave rebellion in U.S. history. Y'all, apparently the plan was they was going to capture the armory at the county seat in Jerusalem and then just keep going. So he and the 7 people who he really trusted to carry this out took charge, and y'all, apparently in 2 days and nights, they killed 60 white people. And then the the local white people and the state militia came, so it was about 3,000 men, really like crushed this rebellion. So after that, Nat Turner was, trying to hide because he was scared to death of what was going to happen to him. And so he was eventually captured. And they tried him and they hung him. And so to try to prevent other slaves from rising up, the white people were beheading slaves and putting their heads up on poles to send a message to everybody else. Apparently, though, the rebellion was so bad, y'all, that it sent a terror across the South because people were afraid that their slaves would rise up too. So that story has never really been something that I've been able to forget because it's like, oh my goodness, that happened 30 miles away from where I grew up. And so it's like, oh wow. So Nat Turner, if you haven't heard about him, definitely Google, learn more about him, and I'll put a link in the description box to the website where I saw some of the facts that I use in this video to like really collect my thoughts.